Hey everyone, Kerry Daigle coming to you from Louisiana. And we've got a treat for you tonight. We're bringing on a young lady who happens to be a medical doctor that's been with us for, I think I'm going to find out in a minute, I think 20 years, if I'm not mistaken. And I want all of you to know something about Dr. Jan Roberto. She's a brilliant educator. She's a writer. And she's one of the most influential medical doctors that sits in the forefront of the Juice Plus company. She's absolutely amazing. No one better weaves a more thorough understanding of Juice Plus and our company than Dr. Jan Roberto. Now, I could tell you a lot more about her, but many people that are tuning in for the first time. You've gotten started maybe in the last 6 months or 2 years, and maybe you really don't know Dr. Roberto. So we're going to start this off and get a chance for you to meet her personally and know a little bit more about Dr. Roberto. Now, introducing you to the new individuals who've joined us as customers, Dr. Roberto, and others as partners, would you mind sharing your background before becoming an ambassador for the Juice Plus company?
Absolutely, Carrie. And thank you to all of you that just took a few minutes to connect and maybe learn a little bit more about what we're up to. And I apologize for my rays of sunshine in the background. I've had to move around because of a storm here. So wanted to make sure I had internet. So thank you for that just amazing introduction. And honestly, it's my privilege. It is my privilege to be part of this call, this community, and I can share more about that later. But before Juice Plus, what was I doing? Well, I was just a regular family physician, and I still am. I graduated normal time, went to medical school 4 years, did a 3-year family practice residency, had a child my 3rd year. A few complications, so I got a little bit of a 4-month late start. Started practice in January of '89, and our son was born March of '88. My husband, I met in undergrad at the University of Cincinnati. He was 5 years older, so he was a 3rd-year med student. I was a 2nd-year undergrad, and that was the beginning. We've been married now 43 years. Met when we were 19, 20. He was 24, so we've enjoyed a long life of serving patients, and we started our own practice January of '89. He was a year earlier than me, and we just grew a practice. That's what you do. This was the old days, right? Before hospital networks were in charge. So we started with the 2 of us and brought one partner at a time. And 4 years ago, we sold to a local hospital network in Dayton called Kettering Health Network. Amazing group of people with 8 providers. So we are free of a business ownership. And so enjoyed going to 2 hospitals, taking night call, weekend call until just 4 years ago. So I've just been privileged with long relationships of patients and families and young people that are now having babies. And you know what, it's been a privilege, but you know, medicine's changed a lot. So I'm an open book, Carrie. You can ask me just about anything, but that was my story. I was not looking for another thing to do. I also ran our practice. I did the books, I did the hiring, the firing, and I worked. So that was what I was doing at the time I found out about Juice Plus.
Were you always in Dayton, Ohio?
Well, I was originally from Northeastern Ohio, Massillon, and went to school in Cincinnati. And then we ended up in Springfield, Ohio, which is a little east of Dayton, right between Dayton and Columbus. Nope, we've not moved. We built our home here. And we're kind of just those boring people, right? We just stay put.
Is your husband also from the same area?
He's from Southern Ohio, a small town, and that's why we met at University of Cincinnati, the southern part. And he was, like I said, in medical school, and I was undergrad. Springfield, just a great 100,000. University of Wittenberg is here, so just a great community.
Well, I had a lot of texts that came in, and here's some of the questions that I was asked. And I said, You know, I really don't know the answer to that, but I'm going to ask Dr. Roberto that tonight. And it's a simple question. How did you hear about Juice Plus?
Well, it found me, put it that way. Long story short, my husband had an early main blockage to his left anterior descending artery at the age of 43 and should have had a heart attack and died, but he didn't. He had a stent in the days when that was very unusual. So now everybody gets a stent, right? Well, then it was a big deal. And another physician that he went to training with like 2-3 years later heard about this and asked us over to watch this cassette VCR on it was Dr. Dubois. And so whatever that was, we ordered, and he took it. I didn't. It was a good year. I didn't take it. Then I met somebody else and they knew I had this stuff in my pantry. I got another cassette, listened to that, went to a lecture. Then I started to take it. My husband was on board from the day one. He was the one with the problem, not me, right?
How interesting is that? Now, did you become a customer first and then join the business, or was it vice versa?
No, I guess I was a customer under that first couple when we got it for a year, and it kept coming because I didn't take it. My husband did. I figured out how to cancel, and I did that because we had so much. Then when these new girls came along, they happened to be, one of them was one of my friends. And so they started trying to educate me, and I was resistant. I just didn't need another thing to do. If it was good, I took it. But I finally went to hear a lecture. Dr. Dubois, it made sense. And then those two gals kept on me and got me to conference in October of 04. And the rest is history. 2 days at conference, I said, okay, whatever that NMD thing is, I want it. I need that health insurance because of my husband. I'm going to have to probably take the health insurance. And so how can I get there and how fast? So it was a little bit of a stretch getting me there. But once I got there, I saw the big picture. I haven't stopped since. So that was 19 years ago when I heard about the business. And then I was a marketing director 2.5 years later.
Now, you mentioned just now, you said you were reluctant. Would you mind sharing why you were reluctant and what lesson is that for the people that are listening in?
Yeah. And honestly, I'm sure they knew. They were scared of me, both of these two girls. One was my patient, one was her friend. I didn't do girlfriends. I didn't have relationships then. And I didn't really take the time to listen because I was always in a hurry and I wasn't looking. And so I was reluctant because I just didn't do anything. You know, this was almost 20 years ago. So health is a big deal now, whereas then it was not, but I knew it was good for my husband. So when I got the education, when I was around the people, then I started to learn. I did not dig in and figure it out myself. I did enough little touches with Dr. Dubois and Mike Ewald and a few others that I kept on, but I was only reluctant because I didn't know what I didn't know. And my two friends kept at it, and bless their heart, the one of them, Chris Reep, is still quite active today.
Now, I heard you mention Dr. Mike Ewald, and you mentioned Dr. Rick Dubois. Would you mind sharing a little bit about the two of them?
Well, Dr. Dubois was internal medicine, and he did some of the teachings and audios. And when I saw him in person, it just gave me a sense of physiology, some research studies, internal medicine doctor talking about something non-pharmaceutical. That was something I've never heard of. A physician talking about something that was non-pharmaceutical, because you know what? They used to pay us $500 or so to do a little lecture and promote their drug. And so that was very odd. And then number two, Dr. Ewald is a chiropractor, but lives close by. And he said, you know what, you can really do something with this and help a lot of people. That's all he said. I'm thinking, why would I want to do something like this and help people when I didn't even know what it was? But it was just those contacts with certain people along the way, little by little, layer by layer.
Now, you mentioned you went to some live events. What impact was that, the live event? What did it mean How did that get your interest up, or what caught your immediate attention and curiosity when you were first introduced to the product line, maybe at a live event?
Okay, so the first one, was Dr. Dubois. That was a live event in my town in Dayton, Ohio, and then listening to a couple tapes. But when I went to, and so there were people there, but I didn't know they were partners. I didn't know who these people were listening to him. But when I went to the conference in Nashville, I said to myself, these people are serious. They are doing something. Like, they were fun, they were happy, they were friendly. And here's a funny story. Even though I knew it was good, I still was not consistent taking Juice Plus, eating it until that conference, because these two girls, they at every meal gave me their Juice Plus. They were feeding me capsules. And I said, you guys are really committed to putting this stuff in your body. Now, it took me a while to get it, but I mean, it was that series of exposures, but the community at conference, and then hearing the professionals speak. And I met Dr. Doug Odom, who's an OBGYN, at one of our lunches. And I think that probably sealed it. We became friends.
Wow, what a story. So am I correct in saying that you've been with us 20 years? Is that right?
19 is more correct. But 20, you can round it up. It's getting close. Yes.
Okay, all right. What
Yeah.
keeps you so excited and encouraged about the company? Because every time I speak to you, you're just high energy. I mean, it's like, Carrie, I love this company. What is it that keeps you so excited?
Well, I'll tell you, we all operate out of 6 human needs: certainty, variety, love and contribution, significance. But the last 2 are growth and contribution. And those are more on the spiritual level. I mean, it's really more of a deeper thing. And I honestly believe the growth, the personal growth, the intellectual growth, the relational growth, the opportunities to continue to learn. How can I say this a better way? How can people understand this better? How can my team benefit? I am a marketing director, international marketing director, so I'm also leading a team. How can we do this in a better, more efficient way? And then contribution. What an honor to contribute to people like you, over 100 people. I don't know a lot of you, so thank you. It is my pleasure. So that's what keeps me excited and engaged. It's like, these are my people.
I love it. That's interesting. Now, we as a company, we've been in business, if everyone that's on doesn't know this, we've been in business for 52 years, the Juice Plus company. And Juice Plus is over 30 years old. So this is a question that you told me I could ask you anything. So here goes, because this is a question I get from everyone. And they said, well, when Dr. Roberto gets on, would you ask it as one specific question? I must have had 10 people ask me this. So here it comes. We're the originator of the Juice Plus fruits, vegetables, and berries in a gel cap. We're the originator. Now, over the years, several companies have attempted to make a copycat to Juice Plus, but couldn't come close. We are the GOAT, the greatest of all time. There is no competition as far as I'm concerned. But for those that are listening in, would you mind sharing why we really don't have any competition from a medical perspective?
That's okay. I can handle that one, because the truth is 30 years means something. Number one. Number two, when I started, there were 5 published studies. The 5th one was the Journal of the College of Cardiology, which with my husband's situation caught my attention. That was number 5. Journal of Pediatrics, GYN Oncology, Medicine and Science in Sports and Exercise, 3 different publications, Integrative Medicine, immune publications. So the point is, these are reputable journals. Over 45 now to date have been published. Now, we could stop and go home. Whoever heard of doing double-blind, placebo-controlled, randomized research on a non-pharmaceutical? The reason pharmaceuticals do research is not necessarily to show that they work, it's to show that they don't kill you. So that's why there's maybe 2 out there. And then you hope for the best. If you got 5 drugs doing the same thing, of course they work. Which one's going to be the best? None of them are going to kill you, right? We have over 45 showing that we work because fruits and vegetables are powerful. So who in their right mind would spend 30 years doing this kind of research independent from the Juice Plus company? This is done by medical universities and hospitals around the world, published in peer-reviewed journals. Now, I know I probably went on just a little bit, but I feel so strongly that our research needs to be understood in a very clear way, shouted from the rooftops, and that every partner and customer needs to understand that that is huge. I can
Wow.
go on. You asked me another question and I can go on.
No, continue with that a little bit if you don't mind. This is very interesting for the listeners. Anything else you want to add in there, go right ahead. I know that the NSF certification, is that important to you?
NSF, absolutely. So that would be the next thing, is that number one, we actually have a food label. If you turn it over, it says nutrition facts. I'm 99.99% everything else says supplement facts. So that means that we went through a lot of process and, certifications and regulation to help it, help them understand this was indeed plant powders. The NSF certification says that it's been independently tested. There are no contaminants, no fillers, nothing undeclared that's not on the label. I do have an inside piece of information. Don't tell anybody, but I do know that our Juice Plus people did sample some competitors, and they did find contaminants and metals and things that are not supposed to be in there. So just as a rule, that's why we have NSF certification, because it has been tested from the beginning to the end. And of course, being non-GMO, all ingredients and the product itself, everything from the beginning to the completion is certified non-GMO. So it's better than organic because of no insecticides, no pesticides, no herbicides, completely clean. And that's how we know, because of the NSF certification. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, that's powerful. That's just what we needed to hear. But as a sports agent, I've been doing that over 40 years. Athletes now in professional sports get tested quite a bit, drug tested. So the NSF certification is really important, that they're taking in a product that doesn't have some of the hidden ingredients that you were talking about earlier. Have you ever seen any other product with this type of research behind it, or?
Absolutely not. Yeah, absolutely not. I don't necessarily go looking for them, but if you were to show me the research, I would be shocked, because here's the thing. People have for years been doing their own research internally and saying, oh, we have one study, it shows A, B, and C. Where is it published? Who did it? How many subjects were there? Has it been replicated? We have 10 studies on bioavailability. We have 12 studies, don't quote me on the exact numbers, more than 5, on inflammation, on the immune system. With 45 studies, it's a big deal to have 2 or 3 that are saying the same thing. It's an even bigger deal to have 5 or 7. And what is really exciting is on the athletic end, as well as just on the health end, we can measure the effect, double-blind, placebo-controlled, those on Juice Plus, those not, before and after placebo, before and after Juice Plus, that there's actual reduction in the inflammation, the markers of inflammation, the oxidative stress. So what we call lipid peroxides, those are damaged cells. Bottom line, our cells are being damaged all the time. And so our original several studies on oxidation showed a reduction in those, what we call lipid peroxides. That's your basic toxicity at the lipid cell level. But on the muscle side, for athletes and people that work out, there's something called protein carbonyls. That's the muscle damage on the cell level. Again, before and after Juice Plus, double blind, we have a reduction in that. Most people don't care about that, right? They just want to know if it works. That is a huge deal in the sports world. That's why we have partnered with the North Carolina with the U.S. Olympic Training Center. So you'll be hearing way more about that coming up.
Wow. Wow.
I think
This
I
is
just sort of
great.
went on a tangent. Sorry.
Oh, no, this is great. These are things that we need to hear. And I was just a little curious. This is a really simple question, but we need to hear it for especially the new people. The last 2 years have joined us. Many products, as we know, supplementation, traditional nutraceuticals, use testimonials to be able to market their product. And here we are with, I think you said about 47 published studies. What difference is that, not only to the medical profession, but to the layperson out there? If you were to talk to someone and they said, well, so-and-so said this, but you have the science, what's the deal? How do you approach someone and what would you tell them?
So just, I think we're at 45. So I don't want people saying, well, it's 47. What are the other two? That would be me. I was always keeping track of the studies and what did they do, right? So this is what I say. My friend told me to take A, B, and C. And I say, well, how do you know it works? Well, they said that they feel better. I'm like, really? That could just be placebo. Is there research? How do you know it works? Because that's what happens when you go into a supplement store or you hear from a trainer, take A, B, C, D, E, F, and G, because it's supposed to work. And so, but what happens when people go on Juice Plus, guess what happens? We know this from the Healthy Starts program, that children they're eating more fruits and vegetables. They're sleeping better. They're doing better in school. They have more, concentration. This was over 1 million children. This was what we call an observational study. So it's not as scientific. It's more based on the observation before and after. But how many of us that have taken or eaten Juice Plus say, I don't get sick? Well, our immune system is improved. We have that by the research. I sleep better. I am able to work out longer. I didn't start working out until 5 years ago. So when you called me a young lady, I'm like, boy, oh, that was such a compliment. Yes, I've been around almost 20 years. And if you're very smart, you could have done the math. So many of you know how old I am. But why? Because I've been fueled with these plant powders and the shake for all of these years. So without the research, I'd still say, well, I'm getting plant powders in my diet, and I know that they are plant powders.
Wow.
The research is what validates and separates us forever and gives you the confidence to say, yes, it works. It's going to do something positive. If anything, you're going to have more energy and probably sleep better. But what if your immune system is improved, like the studies say? What about your cold that you get over in 2 days? What about that heart attack that maybe wasn't so bad, or your inflammation is reduced and you have less cellular damage?
Now, I heard you mention just now the Healthy Starts program. For the new people listening in, would you mind sharing a little bit about Healthy Starts?
Amazing way to help families get healthy together. One adult can sponsor one child from between the ages of 4 all the way through 25. It doesn't have to be in their household. It could be a friend, a neighbor, somebody else's family of 10. You can help them out. And you're just asked once a year to fill out a survey. It used to just be for 3 or 4 years. Now it's through 25. So if you have a 4-year-old, you can get Juice Plus for free as long as the adult is taking it until they're 25. What a gift. What an amazing way to support health, support that, what I call ideal physiology, okay? Health is really at the bottom end, physiology. You're either don't know you have a problem, you're recovering, you're at peak, you're improving, but at the end of the day, where is your state of physiology? And we know that Juice Plus affects that at the cell level as well as all of these other areas.
Now, let me make sure everyone was real clear in hearing what you said. I want to be real clear from the age of 4. So if I sponsor, I'm a new customer, and I do the Healthy Starts program, and I sponsor a child that's 4 years old, you are telling me that that child can get free product as long as I stay on the product until that child is 25 years old?
Absolutely.
Is that incredible?
If
Wow.
you have a married couple that are 22, the husband can sponsor the wife until she's 25.
Wow. That's incredible. Now, the Omegas are our newest product in a capsule. Okay, would you mind sharing your thoughts on the Omega blend?
Well, I did see a question, why did it have a supplement label, not a food label? Because it is from oils. It's not from the actual plant. So we know fish oil has been proven to, it's essential. You have to ingest a series of omegas for cell health. Your body doesn't make it. And so it's really difficult to get in the proper kind of omegas. And a lot of people revert to fish oil, which is very hard to deal with. It's burpy, it's big, there's little quality. So what we found was a way to bypass the fish and go to the algae. The reason, they use the fish is because they kill off the fish to get the algae. So let's not kill off the fish, let's go right to the algae. So we actually produce our own algae to, in controlled environment, as well as, that's the predominant oil, as well as oil from some other berries. And so that being said, it is the size of our other capsules with a pleasant taste. It has a little nitrogen bubble inside to keep it from degrading. And people actually can chew it if they want to, put it on their skin. But to me, it's the quad. That's what I take. Actually, I take double, but all 4 of them really go together. We do have a study, one study that was done on the omegas compared to fish oil. I'll just tell you real quickly, because some people get stuck looking at the label and says, my fish oil says this amount of DHA and EPA, and I'm not getting enough. Well, let me tell you why, is because our algae oil, our berry and algae oil is much more pure. And number 2, we measured it against fish oil and found with our amount versus the regular fish oil amount, we were able to show activity at the cell level in half of the time with the amount that's in our omega. So all we needed to do is prove that it got to the cell level, and that's called the omega index. So it's a measurable unit to show that, hey, it's where it needs to be. It's at the cell membrane and it's working.
Wow. Now, you mentioned the quad, which for everyone listening in, that's the fruit, it's the vegetable, it's the berry, and it's the omegas. So all 4 bottles. And just kind of rewinding a little bit, is there any comment that you could add in reference to all 4 of these products?
Any comment to add? I would take them all. There's no reason not to.
Okay.
People start picking around with the price. And I first of all say, can you put a price on daily arming your body with this documented plant powders and oils? You can't put a price on that. Number 2, all 4 of them together are less than 1 cup of coffee a day. There is no excuse. Most of the time, if people pick it apart because they don't know the true value, and that's okay. We'll love you with starting with the duo or the trio. We love you there. Great job. But until you get that quad going, that's what we need. We need more partners and customers understanding the true value of investing routinely for a long time. If you want to go 20 years and, have your hair stay the same and your skin stay the same and start working out more, that's what you need, is something to keep the catalyst going. And it's foundational. It's always there.
I was on YouTube this week and I looked up Dr. Jan Roberto.
Oh, no.
You did a phenomenal job on our complete protein. Those of you listening in, we have a chocolate and a vanilla. Is anything you could comment on with the protein as far as the chocolate and vanilla protein?
Absolutely. And that's such an old video. We're going to do another one once they have
They're awesome.
the new branding out, but maybe I do look the same. I don't know. It's been 10 years, I think. But it's the same wonderful product. It's it's all plant-based, which is number one. Number two, it has high fiber. And so at any time you can get more fiber in your diet, especially if you're diabetic, you're going to keep that blood sugar more level, more stable. Sometimes people pick apart the label and say, oh no, there's 20 grams of sugar or 10 grams of carbohydrate sugar. Do you know that the average person needs about 200 carbs a day, and sugar is a carb, and all carbs get broken down to sugar? The sugar that's in the complete, now remember this, it's half of the amount that is in an apple. That's how small it is, and it's there for flavoring. Lots of people are carbophobic. There's no reason to be carbophobic about our complete. It is balanced, it has high protein, and you can do so much with it. And I have one a day, at least.
Okay. Now, we heard, of course, early that as a medical doctor, you started recommending the product right away. And then you joined the business and you made national marketing director in a little over 2 years. So you really understood the business right away. You got excited about it. So I guess my next question is this: in the next 36 months, I feel personally, because I've been with the company 34 years, I've seen a lot of great things happen in those 34 years, but we're on course to break records in the Juice Plus world of the business of whole food. And I know we spoke about that during the week, you and I. Would you mind sharing why you feel that same energy? Because I remember you were like, your eyes just popped up and said, hey, I'm in, man.
Well, first of all, I think all businesses have little cycles, and I've watched those over the years, but this COVID coma thing was real, okay? And it obviously has affected many areas of our world, and the economy, et cetera. But here's what hasn't changed. People still need optimal health. They need to have their physiology as good as possible. They want to look good, feel good. They want to recover well. They don't want to be sick. If they are sick, they want to get over it. That hasn't changed. Okay, so the message hasn't changed. There's just more people that need the solution. And what I'm excited about is that I think people are ready to work. They're ready to share. They're ready to be of help to others, and give the solution that, gosh, why hold it back? Why hold it back if we all know what we know? And, how can we package these 45 studies such that everyone can feel confident? Immune system, inflammation, it gets absorbed. If you remember those three, you've got 10 studies covered. The fact that we have it is it proof enough, but we need to get that message out. Now I'm going to say one thing, Carrie, and you might want to delete this because I don't want it going out that I said this, okay?
Well,
so maybe
I'm not going to delete anything because I don't know how.
Okay, so pretend Carrie is saying this, okay? So this is some thought I have. There's only 116 of you, so I trust you to not say Dr. Jan said this. So remember in the 80s, there were two politicians that were running against each other. And
Yes.
One of them said, it's the economy, stupid.
Yes.
Okay, some of you are too young. So I want to find out a positive, nice way to say to anybody or any other perceived competition, it's the research. Smart person.
It's the research, stupid.
But instead of saying stupid, maybe it's the research, smart person.
I love it.
Know. You heard it first.
Hey, we're not going to erase that. I love it. Oh, no, that stays in. That's awesome. How about any final comments for everyone that's listening in? Any tips?
I honestly feel that we are all in the right place at the right time. This community is amazing. I have never seen so many diverse people from all over the country come together at conference, come together at events, and be happy, be inspired, feel like they really do have something to share that's of value. And, that we really are working toward a common goal of ideal health, of helping people, do whatever they need to do as best they can do, and saying, this is just a foundational tool that I use, and I would like for you to learn what I know. Would that be okay? Could we do that together and feel comfortable, because we have work to do? I see this just as a tipping point, Carrie. Everybody is a tipping point. I feel like we are at this threshold where everybody's going to start talking and saying and feeling that same positive enthusiasm, energy, and know the value of what we have to offer is priceless. And you cannot overthink it. You cannot sell it. You share it from your heart, and other people are attracted. They don't want to be sold something. They want to be cared. And all of you that are new, I hope you felt cared about, because it's not like there's about 20 other products, okay? Here we are, and now you get to share, if you choose to, with some other people.
Wow, tonight, I'll tell you what's going to happen, Dr. Roberto. There's probably about 20 quotes that's going to be spread across the world with your name right below it, this particular call. So we appreciate you so much. I'm going to take this off the recording and get people to tell you goodbye. So hang tight just for a minute.